Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a worth the buy or nah foundation review on the Pure Cosmetics 4-in-1 foundation stick. Now this foundation stick is fairly new and they had it on their website a few weeks ago and I really wanted to purchase it, but I just did not want to get the shade wrong. So I was like, you know what, let me just wait until I see it in store. So I saw that Ulta is going to start selling it, I think tomorrow, which is April the 26th, but I just didn't want to wait any longer. So I was trying to research where else I could find it, and surprisingly enough, they sell Pure Cosmetics at your local Kohl's. So I was like, oh my gosh, let me go over to Kohl's and see if they have it. So they had the display, they had everything there, and I was lucky to find a shade that I think may match me. Now I do want to say the shade range is really weird, and I don't know if maybe it's because that Kohl's has like a limited amount of shades to their display. I think that there's more shades online, but the shades that this color tan was next to, one of them was way too light and the other one was way too dark. Like there was no in between. So I was like having a hard time trying to figure out exactly which one would be my shade. So I'm hoping that this is a hit for us. Now it says that this is a cream to velvet matte foundation, which is interesting because a lot of stick foundations, for me at least, tend to be a little bit more on the dewy side. They tend to give you that more luminous finish. So I'm excited to see how this one's going to perform on the skin. So I'm just gonna go ahead and get started. So I already went ahead and did toner, serum, and I did my moisturizer. For moisturizer, I just used my First Aid Beauty Ultra Repair Cream. That's the one that I had upstairs. And whenever I feel like my skin needs a little bit of extra love and nourishment, I like to use that cream because it's really sensitive skin friendly, which is why I didn't use my Day Wear Matte Moisturizer. But now we can move on to our primer. So for primer, we're gonna be using our usual primer, Tatcha Silk Canvas. We're just gonna use a little bit of this. I don't wanna use too much because I feel like we don't need that much. So I'm just gonna take a little bit on the back of my hand, like that, and then kind of rub it in and warm it up on my skin and then start applying it. I know some people let me know that they tried it and it was kind of like balling up on the skin and not looking the best. What you always want to do to make sure that doesn't happen is you want to warm it up on the back of your hand and then start to apply it, so you kind of spread out the product and prepare it to go onto the skin. So that would be my recommendation if you have those troubles. First, we're gonna go ahead and start off with our sponge, and I'm just gonna be taking out the stick. This is really pretty packaging. I think it's super cute. Then you open it, and then just take off that little top part. And this is what it looks like. Like I mentioned, this is in the color tan. So I'm hoping that this is gonna be good on my skin. So I'm just gonna go ahead and stripe it. It definitely feels more of a thicker consistency and a little bit more of a drier consistency than your typical like Makeup Forever foundation stick. That one's super creamy. This one does feel a little bit more on the dry side. So let's see how it does with the sponge. Okay, so it's a little bit harder to blend. That's what I'm noticing. I really had to like pat it in to really blend it out. Like I'm really going to town and like dabbing my face hard. So you can still see my redness. You can still see some enlarged pores. And like I mentioned, it was a little bit harder to blend. So we're gonna have to go in. How does it feel like this? This is weird. It's literally crumbling up. It feels like an exfoliating product. Okay, now it's better. Now there's more coverage. Do I think this shade tan is necessarily tan? No. I feel like this is kind of looking a little bit light to me. So I started off with little product, and as I noticed that it was a little bit harder to blend, I started to use a little bit more product, and I noticed that me doing this allowed the foundation to really look more pigmented on the skin and more noticeable. So I'm going to be taking my Delium Tools Precision Kabuki brush, and I just washed this so it looks super duper clean. I just love a clean brush. I'm going to be taking a little bit of Matte Fix Plus because I feel like I need a little bit of extra hydration in there because the foundation stick is so dry. I didn't expect it to be as dry as it currently is doing, but we shall see. Okay, I do have to say, I feel like this shade does not look tan. I feel like it looks super light. And let me just tell you, the next shade after tan that they had in Kohl's was way too dark. Like, I was gonna look super, super like duper tan. Okay, immediately you can see the difference on this side than we had when we used the sponge the first time around, applying the first amount of product. So you can see that definitely covers faster with a brush. I would suggest using this stick foundation in particular with a brush because it is more of that thicker consistency as you apply it on. And I feel like it's harder to blend out. So with the sponge, you're really gonna have to like pat it in. I was really going to town with it. With the brush, it was so much easier to really blend out the product because the brush had a little bit more power. So I would say use a brush if you want more full coverage. So I mean, I have to say that it definitely looks more full coverage on this side. And then on this side, I just feel like it looks a little bit more natural. You can still see my pores right here. You can see a little tiny bit of redness on the side. But for the most part, I think that I personally would go in with a brush to apply this foundation. Do I think that this is gonna get oily throughout the day? I do feel like it will. It's not like matte, but then again, I would not expect to see a matte foundation stick because I feel like it would just be so drying if there was such thing as one. So I feel like this is as matte as it could possibly get. If they could do something better and not have, you know, the product like breaking apart as it's going on, because it is a solid product, I think that would be cool. So I do have to say, like I mentioned, on this side, the pores are much more enlarged. I do feel like this is a buildable coverage. The more product you use, the more it will cover. This side, I use a little bit more product and I use the brush and I feel like I can't really see the pores the way that I can on this side. I do have to say though, right down here, like in this area, I feel like it's kind of irritating my skin a little bit. Like I just feel like subtle itchiness. So I don't know if it might have been like that texture on the top of the foundation, which I think is really weird. So what I'm gonna go ahead and do is I'm gonna go ahead and finish the rest of my makeup, and then I will be back and give you guys my first impressions on how it set into my skin and work with the rest of my products, and then we can go ahead and start our day and see how this Pure foundation does today. So I'm really excited. I feel like it has potential, but I can also see it going really bad. So I don't know which way it's gonna truly go, but we'll have to see how this plays out. Okay, so I am back. I finished the rest of my makeup, and I do have to say this foundation blended great with all my products. I was expecting a little bit of breakage right where I applied my blush, but there was no issues whatsoever. It applied beautifully. I do have to say it looks really great on the skin. It looks very skin-like. I'm not having issues of it breaking apart or like settling into my skin or just looking like too intense. It looks really nice, and I feel like it does a good job of like smoothing out certain areas and making the skin look truly like skin. So I'm really impressed about that. So what I'm gonna go ahead and do is I'm just gonna go ahead and carry on with the rest of my day. I'll be back at the end of the day and give you guys my full thoughts on this foundation. I think so far, I'm more so impressed than I was in the beginning when I first applied it and I saw that it was just kind of not blending and I was like dabbing my beauty sponge. That's when I was like, how is this gonna go? I did mention earlier that it was itching a little bit here. The itching went away. It doesn't feel itchy at all whatsoever. And I also looked down below to kind of see if there was any irritation or any texture like going through, and I'm not having any of those issues. So I'm hoping that was just like a temporary thing, maybe it was something else, but right now it feels really good on the skin. So I will be back at the end of the day and give you guys my final thoughts on this Pure Cosmetics. I'll be back and let you guys know if this is worth the $36 or not, so stay tuned. Okay, so it is now 7 p.m., 7:11, and I think I have some pretty good thoughts on this foundation. I first want to start off by saying that I really do feel like the foundation looks much dewier, as you can see right here. And I also, when I was eating this morning and I used a napkin to wipe off my lipstick, you guys saw that I had a pretty dark lipstick and I wanted to take that off before I like ruined it and got all over the face. There was like some areas right here where it completely came off, and I wasn't rubbing my lips too hard, like I was dabbing it because I knew I had foundation. So it transfers off really easily, and even so, like right here I had like a line of foundation just kind of like split in half. because I guess I touched my nose or something and it transferred easily. So I would have to say that if you're looking for something that's not gonna budge, that's not gonna transfer, you probably won't like the stick foundation because it does transfer easily. There's like little lines of the foundation where it's coming off a little bit. And I do feel like it could be a little bit better, but it's not as bad as I thought it would look. I did also notice that through the day, it was more visible, the appearance of my pores on this side, where I felt like I had to apply more product with the sponge and it wasn't giving me that full potential, as opposed to this side with the brush where I felt like it really covered my imperfections, my pores. You can barely see them at all. On this side, you can see them a lot. So that's just something I noted. And then I also went onto the website to kind of look through the colors, and there's definitely way more colors on the website. I have to say that at Kohl's, the color section is very small, so I would say just be mindful of that. Perhaps if you do go to Kohl's and you feel like you're not finding your shade, you can kind of get a good idea of where you're going to land in the color selection, and then you can pick one on Pure Cosmetics' website, because they do have a bigger range on there than they do in Kohl's. Now, I don't know if Ulta is gonna have a big range. I know they're launching their foundation in Ulta tomorrow, which is Thursday the 26th. So I'm not sure if they're gonna carry the whole line, which I feel like they would because it's Ulta, but then again, maybe not. Maybe their whole line's gonna be exclusive to their website. So I would just say go to the website, also go onto Ulta and just look to see what it's looking like. But I do have to say, I feel like this color tan is not working out for me. I feel like I could use a darker shade, and I feel like it would be a little bit better, especially now that we're moving into summer. I do also want to say, this does claim to be like a 4-in-1 type of situation. You can go ahead and highlight and bronze with this and do contour and whatnot. I personally would not do contour or bronze up with this type of stick, because I feel like I mentioned, it did transfer a little bit. I feel like if I were to do that situation on my contour and stuff, I feel like it would really budge and it would get messy and it would like not look good by the end of the day. It's not something that's gonna stay put and just locked in for the whole day. You're definitely going to need to go ahead and set it with something on top if you do choose to use these sticks as contour sticks or as highlighting sticks. I feel like this product will definitely be geared more towards my people that have normal to combination skin. For somebody that has oily skin, like super oily, I wouldn't recommend it, because on top of you getting oily, because you're so oily, it's going to start transferring and smudging and just moving around. But for somebody that is combo skin, that, you know, you can be a little bit dry and perhaps a little bit oily throughout the day, just it depends on where, I feel like this will look really nice and give you that nice matte finish, because in the beginning, it definitely did give me a good matte finish. It didn't give me intense matte, which I wasn't expecting, but it didn't give me like luminosity, which I expect from a lot of stick foundations. So I would say for somebody that has combo skin, I would definitely give this a try and see how it works for you, because I feel like it will work better. Now, I want to know if you guys have tried this product, if you have the situation like me where it kind of crumbled up and there have like those little balls on there. I don't even know how to describe it. They're not balls, but they're just like little bumps. I would not recommend this for dry skin people, because it will definitely cling onto your skin and your textures, and it's not going to be a pretty scene for you, because I know how awful it can be when you have dry skin and it's just, you put on something that's mattifying, you're just like, So those are my final thoughts. I really hope that you guys enjoyed watching this video. If you guys have tried this new foundation stick, please let me know your thoughts on it. I would love to know if you enjoy it, if you don't enjoy it. I would just like to know the tea on what you guys think of this product. And if you guys have any recommendations on future videos that you want to see here on my channel, please go ahead and leave them down below. Recommendations, foundations, any makeup product that you want me to try out and test out, I would totally love to do so. So leave your recommendations down below. I know you guys recommended the Beauty Bakery foundation. I think that is what it's called, Beauty Bakery. I always want to say Baking Beauty, but it's not that. I bought that foundation. It's going to be here this weekend, so I'm hoping to get up a review ASAP for you guys. And if you're new to my channel, don't forget to subscribe. We are so close to 15,000 subscribers. If we could get there by the end of this weekend, I would be eternally grateful, and I have a big giveaway coming for you guys, so please, let's get to 15K. We got this. We got this. So if you guys also enjoyed watching this video and want to see more Worth the Buy or Not, then please go ahead and give this video a big thumbs up. Lets me know to continue doing these videos so that you guys can enjoy and learn more about products. And that being said, I'll be seeing you guys very, very soon for a brand new video. Bye guys.